Morning guys, today we are going to show you here live birth of the baby piglets. It's the first time mother and it's a small mother. As you can see, she has already given birth to 3 babies. 2 are already done and they came out almost 10-15 minutes ago. The third has just came out. As you can see, its umbilical cord is still attached inside and struggling to get rid of it. And as a standard practice, it is always advisable that we do not tamper, we do not mess with the umbilical cord either on the piglet side or on the mother side. If it takes it out on its own, that's the best thing. So let's see how it does that. And maybe because usually the mothers give birth to normally anywhere from 4 to 12, and this being the first time mother, I'm expecting maybe as less as 4, or the normal standard is 8 that we are having. Till now the case of 4 piglets have occurred only in 3-4 instances out of the maybe 50 pregnancies that we have seen. So that's not a too high a number, and next 3 are already out. The lower area is also quite huge, so I'm expecting at least 6 to 8, but let's see, because last time I was guessing I'm totally wrong. So maybe we are lucky we can witness the live birth of the 4th one. Let's see if that goes by. I'll keep focusing here and then we'll keep telling you about a few things that can work as a pointer towards what to do, or to be more specific, what not to do. As you can see, one of my attendant is sitting besides the mother, keeping a slightly rough, so it's a jute cloth actually. To be specific, it's a jute cloth. Keeping a jute cloth in his hand. The idea is that when babies comes out, they comes out wrapped in a natural covering, and not too many times, but we feel that at times it can really suffocate them. They are not able to come out of the jelly on its own. So we need to provide them with some help, and by a slightly, because their skin is very soft at this stage, so no harsh rubbing, by slight wiping of the protective jelly covering, particularly off their face. That's why he's sitting there. Also, he's trying to clean up the area so that he doesn't slip and breaks some of his really young bones or joints. But as you can see, he's still struggling very hard trying to find out the feed, and that's a good thing, because sometimes we come across a few baby piglets who are really not interested into getting fed, and that's a big cause of concern, because a hungry piglet at the very start means that he's going to take the feed well and is going to adjust to the feed management slightly more in a probably easier way as compared to those piglets who are not much into. As you can see, it has snapped the umbilical cord from the mother sides on its own. You didn't have to do anything really, and now it has gone all ballistic, finding here and there, trying to figure out. So, and as you can see, there are some discharges from the area, from the mother's area. Let me sit so that we can capture the whole thing more accurately. These are the babies. They are just might be, the oldest one is about 15 minutes old, the youngest one is about 5 minutes old or so, 5-6 minutes old. So let's see if we are lucky, we'll be able to see the live birth as well. But as I was telling that here in the farm we have seen a range basically a range on what kind of mother's behavior can be towards their babies. And we have seen on one end there are mothers who are the least caring, and maybe to the extent that they feel threatened at times by the presence of the baby piglets, so they keep pushing them away from the mother's regular feed as well as from themselves, and then it becomes a big problem in the long run, because babies initially thrive and live on the mother's milk for 2 months. That is one cause of concern. So if the mother is not caring, babies are going to be poorly fed, and as is the case, a poorly fed baby, particularly in his early stages, is going to have troubles. ये प्रधान जी वो निकाल दो, उसका पैर में फंस गया है, वो देख रहे हो, टूट तोड़ेगा उसको. The umbilical cord is stuck in the mother's toe, so I have asked him to remove it from there, because if it gets snapped so early out of some unnatural reasons, it might create troubles for the babies. So on the one hand we have seen mothers which are least caring and don't bother about the pigs, and the biggest problem comes, there are two problems basically. The one is in the initial stages they are not fed well with the precious mother's milk, so immune wise, health wise, they are not as good as, they may not be as good as the other ones. The second problem, the most important one, is that when we introduce them to the proper food, the food that the adults have, the ideal way is through creep feeding. What is creep feeding is that when mother eats, the baby starts eating with the mother gradually from her feeding trough, which is right here, and in due course they get to know how to do it, and by the time they are at the weaning stage, they are almost perfect in eating through the tray. They leave the milk on their own, or might be they do just for the enjoyment, and then proper feed is from the trough only. Now, if the mother is threatened by their presence, is not caring at all, she will not let them. First of all, she is not so inclined to feed them with their milk, but they do usually. None of them really is as non-caring as not to allow feeding. But definitely if it is not caring, it will not let the baby piglets feed from its own feeding tray. That's how they will not be introduced to the creep feed, and then it would be a big problem. It would be a big problem for them to get adjusted to when they are weaned, and because they have to be weaned only when they can learn to eat on their own. So that is a big issue. And on the other hand, we have mothers so caring that it really becomes difficult to wean them, because then they will cry for their kids. Usually I have never seen kids bothering for their mother once they are introduced to the regular food through the feeding tray, but the most caring mothers can still keep demanding for their kids once, even after they are weaned, to the extent that they'll abandon eating for a day or 2 or 3, unless they are mated again, and then the same cycle starts all over again. So these are a few things. Like now, what about this umbilical cord? The most ideal way is that in an hour or so, or might be 2 hours, it should dry and it will snap on its own without doing much about it. We have tried all ways to cut it, to pinch it, but the best way that we have found till date is to let it dry for an hour or so, and just be careful till the time that it doesn't get stuck somewhere like it did get a few minutes before in the mother's hoofs, and then because they are really active, and then they'll keep moving, and it shouldn't actually happen that it gets unnaturally stuck somewhere and gets snapped unnaturally. So I will wait for, as you can see, the lower end is already started kind of drying, and it will spread to the upper points, and then it will really dry on its own and just get snapped without any fuss. So that is one thing. And second thing about the pregnancy management, the delivery management, is that some of the kids, as you can see, a few are very active in getting interest in the milk, but some of them maybe not. Like this one, as you see, is wandering around. He already had enough because he's the first one to come out, but some of them will be quite dormant, will be lying around and will not be bothering to get fed. In that case, you'll have to pick them up manually on your own and place them between the feeding pigs so that they get to know exactly what to do and what I'm supposed to do. हाँ जी, इसको भी वहीं रख दो उठा के, इसको भी वहीं रखो उठा के इनके पास. Like I'm trying to get this thing, the third wandering kid also to get placed. So we'll start it again. This is that case. He's really not getting interested. Maybe he's well fed already. And it will come on its own. We'll wait for a few minutes, and if we see that it's not doing this stuff, place it again. Start. Let's see, because see, the gap between the two pigs at times can be as high as an hour, which is quite natural. 45 minutes to an hour is okay, natural. And sometimes can be as quick as a few minutes. So let's see. One more thing I wanted to cover. As you can see, one of the piglets have been picked up and my brother is taking him out. I'll let you know the reason. Basically, what happens is that when they are born, their teeth are really sharp. So you can see you have to clip the teeth manually, as Uncle is doing with the help of a small nail cutter. It has to be done in such a way that it doesn't extend too much, so as to cut the blood region, but just the upper tip, the sharp tip of the canines has to be slightly chopped, snapped, so as to make it blunt. And the reason is that wait a moment, let it be done first. I'll get you to the reasons shortly. Okay, basically the reason is that with such a sharp canines, when they feed off the mother's nipples, they create wounds there. And once the mother gets infested, it becomes irritating while feeding for them. It is not good for feeding of the kids. Take bahar le chalo. Because why they are thinking so is that if the mother hears the baby's voice going to okay. Some of them are very noisy, as you can see about him. The last one was not as noisy. Pull back. Clip. job आराम से nicely done. But you guys, we are getting live birth, as you can see. Has just come up. It's getting cleaned. This is the fourth one that we have. And as you can see, my man is cleaning at least the face area. That has to be cleaned at minimum. You can see some wrapping around at the face area and the entire body. It's just the entire body at least, maybe the face area has to be cleaned at least so that it doesn't suffocate inside. So now the same thing starts again. The entire wrapping around has been cleaned. I will wait for the umbilical cord to snap from the mother's side first. And though I must have covered it at some other point of time, but I like to know that there are few procedures which has to be done in case of the baby piglets. The first one, as you can see, is the cleaning of the face from the protective jelly kind of thing. Second is to take care of their umbilical cord. The third would be to see that they are interested in getting fed, and at the minimum at the initial point of time, and then within 1 hour or so you have to snap their canines, might be just 1 mm on the upper point so as to make it a bit blunt for the reasons I stated earlier. The next step would be to shot them with an inferon, that is an iron shot, within 24 hours once they are comfortable enough out of the shock of birthing, and within 24 hours behind the ear, the skin behind the ear where it meets the main body, there's a valley kind of gapping. There we shoot an inferon, 1 ml each. Meanwhile, as I told you, this umbilical cord will also get dry and get snapped from the piglet side. Now, depending upon the weather we are facing right now, it's the mid of the April, so in northern India we are having an onset of summer. It's not as hot as it would be in June and July, but it's the perfect weather for actually doing nothing. If it could have been winters, if we could have been covering a winter baby birth, we would have to take extra care because the piglets would require a warming, external warming. We do it with the electrical heaters, but not too close, not too far, just some kind of a little warming, because the external weather is suddenly too cold here, particularly in northern India. So they have to be provided with some kind of weather protection. As you can see, the fourth one is quite interested on its own. It's looking for the milk, so that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. And as is the case with any living being, the initial shots of the mother milk are the most vital food they are ever going to have in the entire lifespan, so they should get that. Once the entire pregnancy is complete, I'll try to cover it up, because as far as I understand, the pigs have 2 uterus inside. So basically there are 2 different kinds of pouches which houses the piglets, little piglets. Okay, here you see the another one coming up. The hoofs can be seen clearly. You can see that. So we are having the 5th one. Sometimes, like in this case, it's going naturally, very easily. Sometimes if it gets delayed, like if we see some part has come out, and as you can see, he's trying to at least clean up the face as soon as it comes out. Very strangely, as there are 2 uterus and the equal number of baby piglets are housed in both the uterus, so it's most certain the case that we always get an even number of babies. So if the 5th one has come out, I'm sure the 6th one will at least come out. and same way the 7th one comes out, then with almost certainty the 8th one will also come out. It's very rare that they give birth. I have not seen till now in the 50 plus pregnancies I have seen here in my farm that they have come out in odd number. Once the entire pregnancy is covered, this is what I wanted to tell you. How do we know? How do we ascertain the pregnancy is covered? Because you can never be sure of the numbers. There may be 6 and there may be nothing more. So we'll keep sitting around for maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours or so. So first thing is that the time between the two babies, between the two piglets, 50 minutes is up to 50 minutes is normal time. It can be as less as 1 minute, but up to 50 minutes, 1 hour is normal time. If it is beyond that and you have an even number already, maybe 4, 6, 8, there are two possibilities. Maybe the farrowing is complete. One, you can see that the first one has already got its umbilical cord snapped from the mother side. The fourth one, the fifth one is still hanging out. Tinku, इसको करो, इसका snap कर दे भाई. I'm asking my brother to, because they are all identical, so they have to be seen. इसको ले लेना Tinku यार. अरे बाद में कर लियो यार, प्रधान जी पकड़े बैठे हैं. ये बाद में डाल दियो सिंकू, अभी मत डाल. सिंकू अभी मत डाल, ये बेबीज नए हैं, अभी मत डाल. So we are seeing the fifth one still hanging around. So as I was telling that up to 1 hour is normal. So if you have an even number, if you have an hour's delay, there are two possible scenarios, that either the pregnancy is complete or pregnancy has got complicated. So how do we differentiate? One is through by feeling the belly of the mother. If you're sensitive enough, experienced enough, you have been doing it for quite long, just moving your hand. As you can see, the mother is responding for the cries of their fourth baby. So if you are sensitive enough, you can feel the movement and you can see the life. You can feel the life inside the mother. Now, if it's a complicated one, then I'll try to cover that topic, what to do in a complicated pregnancy, what to do in a complicated farrowing, what kind of complications can be there. Because I wish that none of the such complications I had to cover like this live, because I wish there are no complications. Anybody would wish there are no complications, but I would like to cover it in theory as such. Now, how do we ascertain for sure that the pregnancy is complete? The two uterus that I was talking, within that there is a big protective jelly which houses all the kids. And once the pregnancy is complete, the mother will throw that two protective jellies, sometimes one by one, sometimes all together. These are two big jellies, big mass that will come out of the vulva. And I'll try to cover that today if possible, showing you the vulva and all. But if I am not able to, then it's a huge mass that you will see, like the one, the material which umbilical cord is made up of, or the material which even the babies came out with, some yellowish kind of material housing, yellowish whitish fluid, sticky kind of thing. Huge, polybag kind of things will be thrown out. As soon as you get them, you consider that your pregnancy is complete. After that, you have to wash, not as such, but you have to clean slightly the place where the mother is and the kids are, and you have to wash the vulvar region of the mother so as to avoid any infection. We will continue this video. Let's wait. Guys, this is in continuation. As I was telling you that the pig will start throwing some jelly kind of material when the pregnancy is complete and it is just onset. Now, though right now we already have 5 piglets, as I was telling you, but the jelly has started coming out. That doesn't mean the pregnancy is complete, because there are 2 jellies, and till the time both the jellies are not out of the body, pregnancy is not complete. It may happen at times that after 3-4 births or so, one of the jellies is emitted out, and then some more babies come and then the second jelly comes out. So you have to wait for the 2 jellies to be ejected from the mother's body. You'll see some fluids getting excreted, and jelly-like material coming out. Let's see. You have to be also careful about some physical problems that may occur. Like once the pregnancy is complete, the mother gets kind of tired and exhausted, so she'll like kind of half asleep. In that time, some of the babies may strike here or there and may get into some areas where just slight movement of the body of the mother will crush them. Like in this case, you can see one of the piglets was again going to the space between the mother's back and that wall behind. So I was worried that if mother is half asleep and just turn around a bit, the baby will get crushed. So for an hour or so, or might be 2 or 3 hours, we'll have to just sit around till the time the mother is awake and is able to take care of the kids. Even the most uncaring mother will not crush their babies to the death, that is for sure. Okay, I think it's going to take time. Let's wait a bit more. Okay guys, as you can see, as you can see guys, as I was telling you, some kind of protective jelly kind of thing will get emitted. This is what exactly I was talking. This is one of them which has been thrown out, and though there's still 5, and let's see, because if it is 5 only, that would be the first for us also, but I'm expecting at least 1 more and then the second jelly. I hope the video has been informative for you guys, and you'll be able to make use of as and when the need be. Thank you everybody.